Renovating a 5-inch gauge sweep pea steam locomotive Part 4. I turn the sweep pea around on the bench to work on the other side. The first thing to do is clean off the grime using WD-40 and a toothbrush. I remove the rear support frame to allow access inside the cab to remove the injector water valve because it is seized up solid. After a lot of effort, I managed to remove it and unseize it. I soon came to the conclusion that a replacement valve was necessary. This job took a lot longer to complete than you see in the video. I don't mean the cleaning job, that's quite simple. Spray on the WD-40, clean the parts up with a toothbrush and then wipe away the residue with a cloth. The coupling rods and connecting rods are slightly rusty. Generally, I deal with the light rust problem using some WD-40 and a piece of 400 grade wet-to-dry sandpaper, and then finish off the job as I'm showing here with some Scotch-Brite. I could remove these parts and clean them thoroughly and polish them using the polishing spindle, but I want this locomotive to look like a working locomotive and definitely not a glass case model. Health permitting, I really would like to run this locomotive. It's looking cleaner already. The paint will need some touch-in work, and the HMG C71 satin black is perfect for this job. I don't much like the piping on this engine, so I'm going to replace a lot of it. This is the injector that's fitted to it. I've never seen one of these before, but I'm sure some viewer will know what it is. I've always used Jubilee fittings injectors that you buy from Blackgates Engineering, and I've never had any problems that were down to the injectors themselves. The injector water valve is seized up solid, so here I'm injecting some WD-40 via a small silicone rubber tube directly into the valve itself. All to no avail, so I start to dismantle the injector water valve from underneath. I take off the nut that in turn holds the spring against the stop mechanism. This is a taper plug tap, so I'm hitting it from underneath using this piece of brass. Very soon I realised that this wasn't going to work and I needed to use a hammer. I still used the brass so I didn't damage the threads on the end of the plug, which was firmly stuck in the body of the valve. I decided to go back to the cleaning job, and I'm cleaning the steam chest cover on the right-hand cylinder. Very soon I will be removing the steam chest cover, but not in this episode. I needed to persevere with this injector water valve job, so I started by removing the injector. Then I removed the pipe from the water tank, and would you believe it, there is still water in there. I thought I'd emptied this tank from the other side. There is a balancing pipe, and I was really surprised so much water came out of this side. I want to remove this stuck injector water valve completely, and this proved to be very difficult. In the end, I chiselled off the little bolts. In this area of the locomotive between the cab side and the boiler, it's quite dark, so I used an inspection light. These inexpensive lights proved to be very useful in the workshop from time to time. Now I can see what's down the side, and the first thing I'm seeing is a lot of rust, and I know why this is. I'm going to modify the pipes that are extensions to the safety valves, because these leak. Water runs down the side of the boiler and pools on the floor of the cab, rusting it. I have a solution for this, and I will show it in a future episode. For now though, I'm going to show you the inside of the firebox and the firebox assembly itself. It's held in place with 2 nuts. I think I'm going to change these for some fancy fittings with crossbars. Here I'm showing how the damper is propped open very cleverly by a specially shaped small metal bar that allows different degrees of damping. I think the day that the builder actually built the firehole door, he was having a bad day because it's a bit wonky, but it does the job. The design of this sweep pea boiler, which is really a marine boiler, is really good for a model locomotive. If you get into trouble, you can withdraw the fire. Here's a firebox, and there's no sign of any telltale water leaks in here, and there is no water staining in the smoke box end either. Once again, I'm using the inspection light to get a clearer image. At this stage I am assuming it will pass a boiler test. If it doesn't, the boiler will have to be removed and repaired and put back on again. I'm really hoping that that is not the case. This component, the removable firebox, apart from the brass ring around it, is made from stainless steel, and as you can see, some of it over time has burnt away and the front part has been replaced. This part of the engine gets very hot indeed when it's in service. There is a seal fitted between the firebox assembly and the firebox, and I'm pleased to say that it is not asbestos. This is definitely glass fibre, as can be seen by the bottom part. I put the firebox back in position on the boiler. I'm going to need more access to the right-hand side between the cab and the boiler so I can fit a new water valve, and I think it's a good idea to remove the support frame from the rear of the roof. Also, this support frame is badly in need of a repaint, and it will be much easier to do it with it off the locomotive. At the top, this support frame is held by lots of small nuts and bolts, and at the bottom it's secured to the chassis using two 2BA nuts. Once all these have been removed, it's very simple to lift it out of the way. Now I think it's a good time to clean the boiler barrel. Once again, WD-40 is my weapon of choice. For the boiler barrel paintwork, I do not need to use the toothbrush, just a piece of kitchen roll, but I do use the toothbrush on the top of the brake shaft. This clip shows the water valve lever, the original water valve and the one I'm going to fit. There is a bit of a problem though. The 3/16 of an inch diameter shaft with the 2BA thread on the end is too big to fit in the new water valve. So I put the shaft with the handle on it thread first into the chuck of my lathe and reduce the diameter of the shaft using a small parting tool. I finally released the plug from the taper in the old water valve. Even though it's a water valve, it is far from being airtight. If I refit this valve, it's not going to work very well with the injector because it will allow air into the circuit. I'm already committed to using a new valve. It's definitely the way to go. And here's a shot of the new valve sat on the footplate. These injector water valves are available from Blackgates Engineering, and they are made by CME Engineering by my friend Chris English, who is the son of Don English of Jubilee Fittings. This clip is a bit out of sequence. I fitted the old valve in the lathe to try and free it off, but it was having none of it, so I used a blowtorch to heat it up. But I still could not rotate the valve. What I had to do was tap the end and finally it gave way, and I had two parts. It doesn't alter the fact that I'm going to use a brand new valve. It's definitely the way to go, but I was curious to see whether I could get the old valve to work. First of all, I tried relapping it, but the taper of the plug didn't match the taper of the socket, so that was no good. I thought I would include this method that I have used before on old taps, using a thin parting tool and machining two grooves. And in these grooves I'm going to fit O-rings, then reassemble the tap, and in theory it should work. I was surprised that the plug didn't run concentrically in the chuck. So anyway, I carried on, and here I've finished the job and I'm using a file to get rid of the sharp edges. And once I'd finished doing that, I just fitted some O-rings like this. The theory being that the O-rings will stop the part from leaking at the top and the bottom. Here I'm fitting the plug back into the housing, complete with the O-rings, and it's a nice tight fit. I connect the air line to the valve, and as you can hear, air is blowing through it. Then I close it, but it is still leaking air very slightly. So the new injector water valve is ready to go. This is a larger type of injector water valve, which is designed for 1/4 inch diameter pipe. I'm using union cone adapters to allow me to use 3/16 of an inch diameter pipe. In the floor of the footplate, exactly where I need it to be, there are two holes, and these holes match the holes in the original water valve. And the distance between them, would you believe, is 1 inch and 3/32 of an inch. Here's the new water valve ready to fit. All I need to do is secure the shaft into the water valve using Loctite 603. And if ever I want to remove the shaft, all I have to do is use a small blowtorch to heat that part of the valve. This episode was difficult to make, but I got there in the end. That's it for now. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.